The next provision that we want to talk about is the facility registration provision. This is not new. The Bioterrorism Act of 2002 is actually the Public Health Security and Bioterrorism Preparedness and Response Act of 2002, which we obviously shortened to the Bioterrorism Act because it's easier. Required food facilities to register with FDA as a one-time event, unless there were some significant changes that occurred with respect to the registration information. FSMA has made a number of significant changes here. The first is that FDA registration is now a renewable event. It's renewable every 2 years. It's mandated. It must occur every 2 years. Secondly, FDA will require the registering facility to provide FDA with an email address of the contact person. If you read any of the GAO reports or FDA's even their own reports, you'll learn that I think it was like 35% of the contact information FDA had in foreign registrations were dead ends. Either no one picked up the phone, or the fax line was disconnected, or the email address was no good. So Congress is trying to get at that and require that this information be provided. Thirdly, though, FDA also can require registering facilities to, this is part of the new information, can require registering facilities to consent to an inspection when they're doing when they're issuing the registration. There'll be a statement that the facility is consenting to an FDA inspection pursuant to the Act, which is pretty significant. Fourth, FDA has the power for the first time to suspend or revoke a registration. If FDA has reasonable probability that a food from that facility would cause serious adverse health consequences or death to human or other animals, and the facility was responsible for that reasonable probability arising, or they knew about the reasonable probability and packed, received, or held the food anyway, then FDA can suspend their registration. FDA has to hold a hearing for this. This is kind of like a mandatory recall, where there's a hearing requirement, and which means that it's going to take some time for FDA to actually establish this authority. But nonetheless, they have the power to suspend. And then we have also that the FSMA is instructing FDA to propose regulations specifying certain information about the kinds of activity that would cause a farm to not be a farm. And this is relevant because there were a lot of questions about the farm exemption and the registration requirements, and Congress is trying to get at that, and they want FDA to fix it. So these are some new authorities to the FDA. The suspension, the revocation requirement authority is pretty significant. One thing important, the biannual registration requirement is not going to be effective for a while, only because the renewal of a food facility registration has to occur in the months of October through December of an even-numbered year. Well, this is 2011, so that means that this renewal requirement would not come into effect until October 2012. So there's no renewal to worry about right now, unless there's already some requirement to provide an update because there's some change in the information that already that was pre-existing requirements under the registration.